Students, yesterday I told you that what kind of person was Griffin was. In the book also it is being told, it is being explained to you that Griffin was actually a brilliant scientist, but he was not a good person. That's what happened. Yesterday you saw that Griffin carried out so many experiments to ultimately make himself invisible, make his body transparent. And what did he do? How did he do that? Something is written, something has been explained to you about Griffin here. Look at here. Brilliant scientist though he was, Griffin was rather a lawless person. His landlord disliked him and tried to eject him. Actually, students, though Griffin was a brilliant scientist. Look at here. Though who was this brilliant scientist? This was the Griffin was a brilliant scientist, but he was a what kind of a person? He was a lawless person. Lawless person means to say that he was a criminal who was not a lawful person. He doesn't obey the law. In law, he was not the person that that can be called as an honored and respectable, crimeless, sinless person. He was a sinful person. And actually his landlord also disliked him and he wanted to eject him. Eject him means he just wanted to make him out from his house. उसको घर से बाहर निकालना चाहता था. In revenge, Griffin set fire to the house, and that is exactly why he actually set fire to his landlord's house, and then he ran away from there. To get away without being seen, he had to remove his clothes. Thus it was that he became homeless wanderer, without clothes, without money, and quite invisible, until he happened to step in some mud and left footprints as he walked. So student, he actually after inventing the medicine, after taking that, when he feel that he can become invisible, he set the house in which he was living as a tenant, he set the house in fire, and then he ran away from there. But he has to escape himself. He does not have to be seen, otherwise he would have been killed. So he actually removes all of his clothes, and then his body actually, because his body became transparent after taking the pill and only his clothes were seen, so when he removes all of his clothes he was not seen, and in this way actually he became a homeless wanderer. Who is a homeless wanderer? A homeless wanderer, a person who just wanders here and there, who does not have a home or who does not have a place to live in, and he does not have clothes also, because if he wears clothes, his clothes will be seen but his body will not be seen, so he would have to cover all of his body parts. Otherwise, if he wears the shirt like a normal person, then his part of the body from above the shoulder, neck part, head part will not be seen, so he can be considered as a ghost in that form. So if he has to wear any cloth, he will have to wear the full cloth. He will have to cover each and every inch of his body. Otherwise, that inch where there is no cloth would not be seen. So he just have to run away by removing his clothes, and then thus he becomes a homeless person, a clothless person. And he does not have money also, and he was right now quite invisible. It means he was fully invisible, and until he just found himself somewhere in mud and left actually footprints behind him as he walked. That was the reason why those two boys actually saw the footprints forming on the steps of a house where actually Griffin was stepping down from that, as he was stuck somewhere in the mud, and his feet was muddy at that time. So as he was walking, footprints were forming on the ground.